Alright, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And today I'm going to be going over my plans for the Miata that I just bought. So I did a couple of things already. I did the suspension, the rear filler panel. The suspension definitely needed to be redone. Obviously, if you saw that video, the whole thing was messed up in the back. So that's why I went ahead and got coilovers, because why spend money on suspension twice? Because I'm going to get coilovers anyways once I get rims and tires. And then the rear filler panel is needed, obviously, because the other one was cracked. So I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a rundown on what I'm planning to do with this car, because I mean, this week I didn't really want to spend any money because, you know, for my last build I kind of learned that you can't spend too much money too quick on these things, because you will eventually just get to a point where you're just too deep into the money pit and you don't know what to do because you spent all your money. So trying to make sure that that doesn't happen with this thing. So let's go ahead and let's go over those plans. I'm going to keep this video kind of short because, you know, not very many people really care at this point because, you know, I've been gone from YouTube for so long. So, but for those who are actually interested in this video will just give you an idea of what my plans are for the future of this channel and that car. So now these aren't in necessarily any kind of order. I'm not sure which order I'll do these in. But anyways, the next thing that I was planning on doing on the car is fixing the shifting, or whatever, the shifter bushing. It's kind of messed up. You know, it's gone basically. Like I could basically, you know, stir it like soup or something. It's kind of weird. So definitely need to replace that. That's cheap. That's probably like, I don't know, 10-15 bucks. Pretty easy to do. I was thinking about getting a short shifter, but I've been reading a lot online that Miatas actually don't like to be shifted fast anyways. So not sure if that's actually true, but I mean, you know, the short shifter only, like, you know, it's very minimal. It does make a difference. But, you know, I might go ahead and do that. We'll see. I don't know if it's smart, though. So the next thing is some sort of roll bar or roll cage. I think I'm just going to get a roll bar because it's just more practical. I can still daily drive it. I mean, even with a cage, I could technically daily drive it still. But, you know, getting in and out of there, it's just eventually going to, you know, hurt the back or whatever. You know, it's just going to kind of be a pain. So I'm not sure which brand to go with. I think there's one called Mad Dog or something that's really popular. I could be completely wrong, but it's something dog. But yeah, those are pretty popular, so we'll see. Now the next thing I want to do is rims and tires. Now the tires on there right now aren't too bad. I really do think rims and tires will change the whole look of the car, though, to be honest with you. But I don't really want to do something that I don't necessarily need right now, so I might wait a month or two to get rims and tires, because I mean, it is kind of expensive too. It's probably at least $600 to $800 for the rims, and then for the tires probably another, I don't know, 500 bucks. So all in all, that's kind of a lot of money. So that's something I'm definitely gonna have to save up for. I don't want to just drop all that money right away. Same with the roll bar. That thing is what, like $600 or $700? I don't know. It's somewhere around there. It's pretty expensive stuff. But you know, the roll bar is also for safety reasons as well, because I've seen people that are just, you know, on these tracks and just a small little mess up. It's not even like they're going off like a hill or like there's a big, you know, ditch or whatever. Like small little mess ups and these cars can flip over. I mean, that could happen with any car, to be honest. But you know, with the Miata, since it is so small and it's a convertible and there's not really that much you know, protection of rollovers from the factory, that's another reason I want to get the roll bar. Also, it stiffens up the back a little bit, so that'll be nice. Now, as far as the paint job goes, it's actually pretty nice. I mean, there are some parts on it, obviously, that need some touching up. It's not the best paint job, but for what I need, I think it's pretty good, especially since I'm going to be daily driving it. I don't want to have some sort of like showroom paint job because, you know, it's going to get rock chips. It's going to get hit by, you know, morons in the grocery store parking lot with their carts or their doors. So I don't know. I might end up doing a full paint job later in the future, but I'm pretty happy with the paint job that's on it right now. And I'm really happy that I was able to find the real filler panel or the finish panel that fits it all, because, you know, it kind of just finishes up the whole car. It's just one color, you know. Now I also want to do sway bars underneath, obviously, get that all taken care of eventually in the future. Those are pretty relatively cheap, kind of. I mean, it depends what kind of brand you go with, but we'll see what I go with. But you know, it definitely does stiffen up the suspension, so I need to get that eventually. Now, one thing that's kind of bad about this car, I mean, it's 30 years old, but I'm pretty sure almost every Miata has this issue, basically. Not every single one, but the frame rails on the bottom of the car are super smashed. I mean, they're not like completely like terrible, but they're pretty smashed. So what I think I'm gonna end up doing eventually is trying to pull those out, try to reform a little bit, and then eventually get the little, whatever they call them. You guys know what I'm talking about. You put it over the frame rail, it kind of protects it again, and it also stiffens up your chassis. So I do want to focus more on suspension on this car, because on my other car I didn't do basically any suspension work on the Integra, like at all. And I think it's pretty important, especially in that car, because if something goes wrong in that car, I mean, you'd probably survive, but you're gonna be hurt because it is a lot smaller than the Integra. So I just want to make sure everything's good in there, you know, like the ball joints aren't like super worn, stuff like that. So I want to do basic maintenance on the suspension. Now I also want to do basic maintenance on the transmission, the engine obviously, and the rear differential. So we're going to do all that eventually. That's pretty cheap stuff to do. We'll probably just take out the, you know, replace the fluid in the transmission, same with the diff, and do the oil. Now after all of that, I do eventually want to add some power, but that's not till later down the line, guys. Like I said, I already learned from the whole Integra process that, you know, it's better to just kind of do things slowly. The reason I got so rushed into the Integra, I was like, oh crap, like what if I do like a full turbo build, like this should get me more subscribers or whatever, you know. But I mean, it wasn't only for that, but it was something that I've always wanted to do on a car, and it was a great experience. But I did think it was going to grow my channel a little bit more than it did. And you know, I thought it was more of like an investment thing, like I would get the money back eventually. But I mean, to this day I still haven't got back, I mean, probably not even half of what I spent on that thing in YouTube revenue. So I decided, you know, I'm just gonna do things for me now. I'm not really gonna do it just to, you know, have, you know, views or whatever, you know. I just basically am documenting my whole car build, and if you guys want to watch, great, you know, I'll get a little bit of extra money and I'll put it back into the cars or whatever. But I don't want to get in another financial situation like the Integra. That was absolutely ridiculous. If I would have just took that money and, I don't know, invested it in Tesla or something, I would have been way better off. So, I mean, you gotta have fun, but there is a point where it's just like, what the heck are you doing? All your money's tied up in just a piece of junk out there that doesn't even run. So, I mean, I gotta go slow on this Miata. I am eventually probably going to do some sort of turbo, but it's just going to be, you know, some conservative amount of horsepower. It's not going to be like something insane. Definitely somewhere in the 200 to 300. It's not going to be like the Integra where it was at like, what was it? 350 horsepower or something? 351 for exact numbers. And that thing was pretty fast. So I probably could have done a little bit more, but you know, the car just it didn't have the right stuff on it, and I just spent too much money, and I just basically gave up. So I don't want that to happen again to the Miata. So everything's going to be going very slow. But yeah, those main power mods aren't going to be down the line because I don't want to go broke. Now also, I want to kind of learn how to tune. Now, I know like I'm not going to be like the best tuner out there, but I do want to gain some sort of knowledge on it because it is pretty cool. And I think like if I just have like a stock motor in there and I just, you know, throw on maybe an intake, some new fuel injectors or something, like who knows, maybe I could actually make it go a little bit faster, you know, just kind of learn what it's like to actually tune something, you know. But yeah, guys, so that is it for today's video. I just wanted to do a quick little video on my basic plans for the Miata because I don't want to leave you guys hanging, because this week I didn't really have a video, and I'm actually a bit sick right now. I don't know what I have, but who really knows at this point. But yeah, guys, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to follow the build, make sure to subscribe, like this video if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace out, guys.